Today, I'd like to share a few of my memories of my elder sister, Bonnie. Bonnie was a loving, generous, and caring person, and growing up with her gave me so many happy memories that I will always treasure. One of my favorites was when I was 17 years old, and Bonnie took me for my first overseas trip to Switzerland. We had never been or never seen a duvet before, and when we climbed into bed that night, we couldn't stop laughing and laughing. It seems such a small thing now, but it's one of those wonderful memories that stayed with me all of my life because we laughed so much together. The following year, we traveled to Italy. We didn't speak a word of Italian except one very important phrase, due Coca-Cola, per favor. We seemed to survive the whole 2 weeks with just those few words and thought we were doing very well, very, very well. A few years later, Bonnie did me the honour of being one of my bridesmaids, together with our sister Deirdre. She looked absolutely beautiful, and it meant so much to have her standing beside me on one of the happiest days of my life. When our family moved to Australia, and when I say our family, I mean my husband and my little boy, John, the distance never changed our relationship. Every couple of years, Bonnie would make the long trip out to see us, and the visits became very special, not just for me, but for John and Tracy, who both adored her. She quickly became their favourite aunt and always made time and showed a genuine interest in all their lives and filled our home with warmth, laughter, and love whenever she visited. When I think of Bonnie, I don't remember the big occasions. I remember her kindness, her generosity, her sense of fun, and the way she made people around her feel loved. Those are the gifts she gave all of us, and they're the gifts that will never be forgotten. Although we miss her terribly, I feel incredibly grateful that she was my sister. The memories that we will stay with me forever, and I will always carry her in my heart. Rest peacefully, Bonnie. Thank you for the laughter, the love, and being the wonderful sister you were. We'll love you always. Rest peacefully.
Hi, I'm John, or Johnny to most of the family. Marguerite's son and one of Auntie Bonnie's 3 Australian nephews. I actually have Auntie Bonnie to thank for my name. My mum really did not want to call me John with a H, and which was the family tradition for the firstborn son on my dad's side of the family, as there are a lot of Johns on both sides of the family. So Auntie Bonnie came up with the idea to call me Johnny, Jonnie, to differentiate me from the rest of the family. My first memories of Auntie Bonnie was when she would come to Australia on her biannual visits. She would normally come to Australia for around about 6 weeks and spend 2 or 3 weeks with our family, and about the same with Auntie Deirdre's family, and often do a trip on her own, whether it would be a 4,000 kilometre railway trip on the Indian Pacific between Sydney and Perth in Australia, or just a trip to visit other relatives down in Victoria. What I always loved about Auntie Bonnie was the time that she spent with us children when she visited, whether it be playing games or just sitting and chatting. These are always enjoyable times for us kids. Mum and Dad would always try and organise a holiday somewhere with Auntie Bonnie when she stayed with us. 2 of the most memorable holidays with Auntie Bonnie were to the Gold Coast in Queensland and another to Port Macquarie in New South Wales. Auntie Bonnie would always find fun things for us to go and do. Auntie Bonnie always seemed to be quiet and reserved when she first arrived at the beginning of her trip to Australia, whether it was just a bit of jet lag or the black dog. Within a few weeks of Auntie Bonnie being here, she would start to bloom and totally enjoy herself. I don't know if it was just the warmth and the brightness of the Australian sun, or just enjoying her Australian family and the many friends that she had made over here. Auntie Bonnie's pilgrimage to Australia was very much missed when the travel just got too much for her. I have to say Auntie Bonnie was one of the most kindest and generous people I know, and I never heard her say a bad word about anyone. Auntie Bonnie, you were very much loved, and you will be very much missed.
Hi, I'm Tracy, one of Auntie Bonnie's nieces from Australia. Whenever I think of her, I immediately think of the joy I felt whenever I travelled to England to spend time with her, or when she would come to visit us here in Australia. Those visits were always so special, full of laughter, warmth, and moments I'll always treasure. Auntie Bonnie had a way of making everything feel exciting and memorable. She would always organise something wonderful for us to do, especially trips to the theatre. I still remember seeing 42nd Street, Starlight Express, and Cats, which she organised, experiences that felt magical at the time and even more meaningful now. That was who she was, thoughtful, generous, and always wanting to create happiness for others. She gave so much of herself, not just in big gestures like those outings, but in the way she made people feel welcomed, loved, and important. Her generosity wasn't just about what she did, but it was who she was at her core. To me, she wasn't just an aunt, she was someone who brought joy into my life in such a natural and lasting way. The memories I have with her are filled with laughter, kindness, and a sense of fun that I'll carry with me always. While we feel sadness of losing her, I feel incredibly grateful to have had those moments with her. They are gifts I'll never lose. Auntie Bonnie, thank you for the love, the laughter, and the unforgettable memories. You'll be deeply missed and always remembered. Rest peacefully.